So I kind of want to like zoom out here because I think the lead gets buried a lot. And I am so done with the stupid, oh, we hate Trump, therefore anything he does is bad. I'm tired of that game. And apparently so is the DOJ. And that's why they are federally charging the guy who stabbed the Ukrainian refugee woman in the neck in Charlotte last month.
As a native of Charlotte, I'm so sad to say that our city has gotten to this place. I was born here. I grew up here. I remember when the light rail was built. I remember the development it spurred. I remember the excitement. And to think now that you can't even feel comfortable riding that train hits me deep.
Yeah, because apparently local judges couldn't be trusted with, locking these people up anymore because they let this dude out of jail 14 times. And the judge who recently let him out for the 15th time partially owns one of the rehab facilities that he would have had to be a part of. Unreal. But whether it be this or illegal immigrant crime, 98% of the media just doesn't want to acknowledge this. This is the problem. Trump made this point actually very clear today.
We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand. 24 of the top 25 most dangerous cities in America are run by Democrat mayors. 50 people were murdered in Chicago in recent weeks, with hundreds being shot. And it's time to stop this madness. The people of our country need to insist on protection, safety, law, and order.
Yeah, that's the real story, but if you're into like self-pain and self-mutilation, you can scroll all the way over to CNN. And it's a vastly different message who still haven't gotten the memo that most of America is like, yeah, crime's real bad, but also outside of this incident, they're just refusing to admit that illegal immigration is still a major driver of a lot of crime in those same cities too.
And the vast majority of these arrests are of people who have not committed crimes. Instead, it appears to be an effort to meet Stephen Miller's quota of 3,000 arrests per day, which is what he expects ICE to do every day.
Yeah, let me just back up here. All of the people who ICE is picking up in deep blue cities have committed a crime. Fact, this is not my opinion. All the people they're picking up came here illegally, and almost all of them have deportation warrants because many of them didn't show up to their immigration hearings. They just blew them off. A whole bunch of these people also are being rounded up are real bad hombres.
Let me tell you, in the last couple of days, what's happened in Boston. They arrested Victor Gomez Perez, a 33-year-old criminal alien from Guatemala, with charges of aggravated rape, assault and battery with dangerous weapon, indecent assault and battery on a victim 14 years or younger. They arrested Kaylee Espinosa, a 33-year-old criminal alien from Colombia, with charges of aggravated assault on a pregnant victim. They arrested Joshua Gonzalez, a 24-year-old criminal alien from Dominican Republic, with charges for trafficking heroin, morphine, opium, resisting police, disorderly conduct, and drug distribution. They also arrested Samuel Armando Barrero, a 20-year-old criminal illegal alien from Guatemala, pending charges for assault and battery on a child. So Mayor Wu and Governor Healy, they ought to be calling ICE and thanking them for making their streets safer.
Well, Mika, you want to take the subway with any one of those criminals he listed off? Probably not. And sure, these libs are part of the problem. But the real issue is the type of people that are elected to office that are actually watching Morning Joe actively because they like it or agree with them. Places like Chicago, who are governed by those people who watched that show, barred its local law enforcement from cooperating with ICE, which is weird because I seem to remember this.
I, Brandon Johnson,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That's weird because this is the problem with taking an oath that you actually didn't read. You end up violating that oath. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4 states the Congress shall have the power to establish a uniform rule of naturalization. You know, the whole citizenship thing. And you're breaking that law and that oath, Brandon. Hey, DOJ, maybe charge him with that when you get done releasing the Epstein files. These are the people Brandon and other lib mayors and governors and whoever else are actively allowing to stay on the streets. This is beyond what Tom Homan just said. Latin King gang member convictions for battery, aggravated assault, DUI, trespassing, criminal damage to property, public indecency, violation of order of protection, multiple assaults, or this guy, convictions for prosecuting domestic violence, assault, drug possession, and active warrant for drug manufacture. The guy's building meth. Tren de Aragua gang member, aggravated assault with an unlawful use of a weapon, sexual assault, domestic battery, and kidnapping. Another Tren de Aragua gang member, seems like a real nice guy. Charges for reckless conduct, aggravated assault with a weapon, and armed violence. Criminal illegal alien from Iraq. I didn't even know we got some from there, but apparently we do. Convictions for felonious assault, assault with a deadly weapon, and murder with intent to kill. That's the definition of murder. There's like dozens. We were looking these up. Grok gave us like 4,000 examples of this. Then you'd slide right over to Minnesota, which is Tampon Tim's state. Here's a convicted sex offender that had his deportation stopped by a liberal judge, released him, and then he got not one, but 2 jobs in the Minnesota state government. Get this. He held a director-level position auditing taxpayer spending and overseeing internal accountability. As an illegal alien and a sex offender, what is he doing overseeing accountability for anything, especially government? Like, no thanks, dude. If you live in Minnesota, you should be requesting a refund on your taxes. All of it. I mean, what do we have to do to get you to see this? Over 500 people were murdered in Chicago last year alone, and these people still don't get it. There's a pattern. It's like in another liberal city, Boston. Tom Homan mentioned Mayor Wu. She actually could lose her seat in this election over this kind of stuff. But Mika would rather complain about where the ICE parked their car to get criminals off really? Roll it.
I see on the show this morning you have Governor Healy talking about ICE doing enforcement operations at a church. False. Didn't happen.
They were parked there. They did not do an operation
no,
there. She said they were parked in a public space legally.
But to say that and to push that out there puts fear in the immigrant community. So let me tell you what's happening.
To do that puts fear in the community. Right. To park the ICE agent's vehicle
they're on a
near
public
a church.
Street.
They are on a public street.
They're on a public street waiting to respond to a criminal alien release pulled aside the road.
I don't care if they park on the top of the altar of the church. They're there to pick up a criminal. But no, Mika Brzezinski is in her ivory tower for some reason thinking that enforcing our laws are bad. Yeah, you can't put an ICE vehicle on the... Shut up. This is what's even more so rich. That these people, like her, they're spewing these talking points. Morning Joe. They moved to Florida, where they actually have like 4 houses, but they moved to Florida as their primary residence, who actually enforces laws down there, where they have lower taxes, which is the opposite of the policies that her and Joe Scarborough, who used to be a Republican, advocate for. And they're also tough on immigration down there. I mean, round of applause for like the Darwin Award for you people. There are somewhere between 10 and 20 million illegal immigrants, somewhere in that ballpark, in this country. Look, maybe most haven't committed crimes other than not supposed to be here. Maybe Mika didn't pay attention in civics class, but 3,000 deportations a day is not some like arbitrary quota like we hear from the dude on CNN. They need to do that to be in compliance with the law. They need to deport 3,000 or more illegal immigrants a day to make legitimate headway to being in compliance. Oh, Carl, some of these people came here like 20 years ago and don't have a life in another country. They don't know any other way. Well, that sucks, but it's not my problem. And they shouldn't have come here illegally. Oh, Carl, stop being so... No, I don't think I will stop being so harsh, because I don't get to break the laws. Neither does anyone else. That's how society works. Or a civilized society, which is not like Chicago and Boston and places like that. Democrats used to understand this, even Chuck Schumer.
Why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud.
You seem to know it was a problem then. I mean, like, I guess TDS is a horrible disease. Makes you hate yourself enough to change your opinions and put cheese on hamburgers before they're even cooked. I mean, it just like to have that kind of flip makes me think that he should be tested for peyote. But now they're willing to defy Supreme Court orders to keep illegals there while tax-paying residents get completely hosed and have to pay for all these programs, by the way. Karen Bass, the mayor of L.A., tweeting, the Supreme Court gave ICE the go-ahead in L.A. Yes, they did. She says, I want the entire nation to hear me out when I say this isn't just an attack on the people of L.A. This is an attack on every person in every city in the country. No, it's not. The attack is literally on your constituents. I mean, I should say what's left of them after the ones that didn't have their houses burned to the ground because you didn't have water in the fire hydrants and DEI fire chiefs. None of these people said anything when Barack Obama deported over 3 million people. And then he built the family separation cages that the left cried in front of, like you see there, AOC, faux crying under Trump. I'm halfway to saying, you know what, Trump, just let them devolve. Let these liberal cities either murder or abort themselves out of existence while smoking crack from the pipes they get in taxpayer vending machines.